All right, who is here with me? Who is here? Who is here with me? With me, with me. I don't know if anybody's here. You can hear me. Can you leave me a hi and drop me the location of where you are right now? That will make it more interesting. So it won't seem as if I'm just talking to myself. This is Shakira Tujokun, popularly called Always Shakara. It's a beautiful Thursday again today on our Candid Talk series with parents. And last week, we began a discussion on the possible reasons why your child might be misbehaving, the reasons why your child misbehave. And I also mentioned a lot about the reasons why a child will misbehave. I also mentioned the fact that one of the first things you have to understand as parents is that we must come from a place of trying to solve our child's problem when they misbehave, not trying to compound it or trying to blame them or castigate them for having that problem in the first place. So instead of getting angry by a child for misbehaving, you're looking at it from a lens of an informed parent. You're looking at it from a lens of, I know what I'm doing. I understand that this child needs my help, not my critics. So the first step to solving any problem is for you to understand the reason why that problem exists in the first place. And to do that, you need your own self. You need to be in your own right sense of you need to be in your right sense as a parent to be able to assist your child to overcome a, a particular challenge. This is why I usually say that parenting is more about you than it is about your child. I understand that I do not believe the fact that parenting is just about the parent. I believe that it's more about what you do. I believe that a child has their own peculiarities too. They have their own not so appealing behavior too. But it is more about what you do as a parent that makes the difference. It's not children are the same everywhere in the world. But the difference is in what you do as a parent to assist that child to try to understand that child. So if you can hear me, please, I would love to hear your hi and the location of where you are watching me live from. I'm talking to you all the way from Ibadan, Nigeria. So thank you for joining me again once again. So last week we mentioned two reasons why your child may be misbehaving. And I said that top of the reasons why children misbehave is because they lack the skill to behave to our own expectations, not because they're deliberately trying to frustrate us. Children lack skills, and I mentioned the fact that there's a difference between can't and won't. And I said that children can't behave to our expectation because they lack that skill. They lack the skill to misbehave. A child lacks the skill to express himself when he is not in a good mood. Unlike adults, even we have adults that when they're not in a good mood, they start throwing tantrum. There, we have an adult tantrum too. They start nagging on people. They start complaining. They start venting anger. They don't know how to contain themselves when they are not in their right emotions. So children, especially, they lack skills to express themselves, to express the way they are feeling. So it is the responsibility of an adult, of a parent, of a teacher to help the child calm their cool, to help the child contain themselves even when they are hungry. And I mentioned the fact that when you see discipline in terms of empowering skills, you think differently. You're not blaming the child, you're not beating the child, you're not shaming the child for experiencing what they are experiencing. You are coming from a place of, I want to help you. How can we work this out? How can we improve this situation? How can I help you to become better? By teaching the child with skills to be able to express themselves instead of crying all of the time, to be able to calm themselves when big emotions come in. So it is more about what you do as a parent. And it is said that children who know how to express themselves emotionally, become more successful than those who cannot. And that's the truth. There is more to life than just being brilliant academically. There's a lot that has to do with the EQ that when parents model this behavior to their children, children also automatically practice them. And the more they see you doing that, when they have their own big emotions fighting with them, the more when you can help them with to overcome that challenge, the more they also do the same to you. But once your child is going through a meltdown period and you are getting furious, you are getting angry, you are beating the child believes that the brain of the child interprets it as exhibiting a bad behavior, and when any other person is experiencing this too, this is the way I should deal with the person. I should also beat people for getting angry. I should also beat people for getting overwhelmed by emotions. And these are not ways to model good emotional response to children. Children need a lot of help to be able to express themselves, and this begins from what we do to them as parents. And that's the first thing I said, that children will misbehave because they lack skills, not because they want to torment us, not because they're deliberately trying to be difficult. Children lack skills, and what you do is what makes the difference. And I also mentioned the fact that your child will misbehave because your child wants your attention. And the more your child cannot get that attention from you the right way, the more they act in a negative way just to get your attention. And this is true for toddlers especially. They cannot get your attention, once you are not feeling their emotional thank, they are going to seek it the wrong way, including using misbehavior to get your attention. So it is your responsibility as parents to make sure that you give your child the right dose of attention. If they are your child, you should know what is sufficient for them. Give them the right attention and plead with them that you need to do some things now. In the next few minutes, I'll answer you. And this is one of the things that I've used for my own son. Whenever I have a class or I'm about to do something, I communicate with him as if he's an adult. I talk to him. I'll have a class soon. I'm giving you attention now. Let's do this now so that I can have my class. And incorporate, of course, children will always be children, but the more you communicate with them, the more you let them understand that you are here for them, the more they reduce their misbehavior. Even though it's not misbehavior, but we term it as misbehavior because it's disturbing our own personal space or our own personal programs. That's why we see those things as misbehavior. So today we are going to continue by telling us that another point that we have to note, that children misbehave because they have other parents, like I love to call them. You're not the only parent in your child's life, and until you understand that until you hold that position in your child's life, that you are the prominent authority and influence in your child's life, that's when you can say you're parenting. Understand that your child have other parents. The media is there, teachers are there, the environment is there. The question is, which position do you want to own in your child's life? And how do you claim that position? Do you claim the position of the best authority or the first authority in your child's life by beating them, by yelling at them, by screaming at them, by shaming them? Nobody gains influence through those negative ways. Influence is only gained when you, as a parent, come from a place of your own wholeness, and you come to your child with your own vulnerability, by understanding your child, by trying to connect with them, not by beating, by shaming them. Like I said in my book, Connect to Influence, I said that we may continue to beat a child for a particular behavior, and we believe that that's the only way to go. It may get us our result and it may not get us our results. But the most important thing, the sure fact is that it does not empower a child. If you are beating a child for a particular behavior, your child might change that behavior that momentarily, but the truth and the fact is that it does not teach your child how not to repeat that behavior. Beating a child for misbehaving, for doing something that you don't like, may stop the misbehavior presently, but obviously it does not empower your child with the skill to be able to overcome that challenge. So it means you need to have reasons to continue to beat your child each time they misbehave. But when you empower your child with a skill, when you look beyond the misbehavior presently and you look beyond just gratifying your own whims and caprice, it means you are helping your child, you are trying to prepare your child, you are thinking through your process, you are assisting your child to overcome that challenge that made them fall into that misbehavior in the first place. So this is my belief, this is my point, and this is what I practice in my own home. You don't beat a child by saying that you are beating the child for the child's own good. This is one of the lies that we have come to believe over time. You are beating a child because you are weak yourself. It's one of your weakness, and until you accept that you are beating a child because you lack the ability to control your own emotions, then you might not be able to model well to your child. If you cannot beat your spouse for misbehaving, for doing some things that you find irritating, then why do you have to beat your child for the same misbehavior? This is the way you have to think about it. For so long, we have been told that you are beating a child for their own good. If you don't beat a child will turn out to be a spoilt brat. All those are just lies. And until we deliberately unlearn these things and learn empowering ways to deal with our children, we'll continue to repeat errors of the past. And enough of that, there are other ways. There are people that were raised without beating them and they turned out well. So let's stop propagating things that are not sustainable, approaches that are not sustainable in parenting. For how long will you continue to beat a child for a behavior? For how long will you continue to use that approach? Maybe perhaps for the first 10 years of their life or 15 years of their life. But believe me, there are other alternatives that works, and it is your own responsibility as parent to seek it. So understand that your child have many parents. So as much as you're the primary influencer in your child's life, understand that there are also other people that they look, that they monitor, that they watch, they see movies. And children, parents will say, I don't we don't use that language in our house. But how come your child is use that language? Because perhaps he learned it in school, perhaps he watched it in the TV. Just this morning, there's this trend that is going on now. That they will say that Lori that is it's all based on lies. And I just started seeing that trend yesterday. And my son, my little son, he has had that when I just open my phone, maybe like 2 or 3 times. And automatically this morning he said Lori. I was like, wow, don't use that language again. He said that, but mom, you saw it, I had it from your phone on your phone. These are ways that our children pick up words, even though as in our homes we don't believe in them or we don't use them. We should understand that there are many teachers in the life of our children. We should be the primary influencers. We should be the most prominent teacher in their life, positive one at that. But we should understand that our children also will misbehave because they have other people they are watching, they have other people they are seeing. Please, if you can hear me, can you leave me a hi on your location? I don't know why I cannot see anybody. And I want to believe that I'm not talking to myself. Please, can you assist me by dropping a hi on your location? I'm talking to you all the way from Ibadan, Nigeria. So we should understand that our children, they have other teachers. You can call them parenting partners. They have teachers in schools, they have environment, they have the social media. So as much as you want to be their primary influencer in your child's life, do you vet what they watch? Do you scrutinize what they see on TV, or you are in your home? It's just a carefree attitude that you have towards media consumption. There is no rule guiding consumption of media. Your children wake up in the morning and the next thing they do is they on the TV. They have the right to on the TV because they are children, of course. They have to enjoy themselves. I'm not saying these things are not good, but the truth is that you must have rules that guide this thing. The earlier you begin to have rules guiding the use of media in your home, the lesser you have reason to complain when they become teenagers, because you have built them, you have raised them on the line of there is rule to everything we do in this house. In my own, for example, we don't watch TV during the week. We only watch it during the weekend. And even that weekend at times is just for family, for connection. We are going to see a movie that teaches our values, that reiterates the things that we believe in. These are ways we can always, I think I can see somebody now online. Thank you for joining me, Blue Afghan Schools. So these are ways we as parents should take positive influence position in our children's life. Authority that you gain as in your child's life comes from the things that you do daily, comes from the way you carry them. You involve them in decision making in the home. And I believe that decision making in the home should not be just from the parents, should not be from but from top to the bottom. It should be something that is communal. If we want our children to be leaders that can speak for the right of other people and for their rights, we need to give them that voice in the home. A child that is given a voice in the home will be able to speak outside, but a child that is not given a voice in the home will find it difficult to talk outside. It must begin from our homes. So understand that your child will misbehave because they have many other parents aside from you. So how do you maintain that position of authority, of the prominent authority in your child's life? You have to scrutinize and evaluate the things that you do in your home. The influence that these other parenting partners have in your child's life, you have to scrutinize them. Media, how do you consume media? Is it that your child does watch anything in the house? They can watch even anything. Even when you are seeing movies that are not meant for children, you watch them together. They leave your house, they go to the neighbor's room, they watch movie, and you come later to complain that your children they are using language that you don't like, they are saying things that you don't like. You have to take the job of parenting seriously. There are a lot of cases that we have learned that children were seduced, were abused in neighbor's house, all in the name of I want to go and see a movie. I was watching a movie with them. These are things we have to tell ourselves. We have to start thinking differently when it comes to the upbringing of our children. They are your children and you are accountable for them. And until you understand that it is your duty, teachers may be assisting you, friends and neighbors might be assisting you. they are still your children and you are responsible and accountable to them, if not to God, if not to man, but to God. So that's another point. Understand that your child have many teachers, and until you are the prominent teacher in your child's life, you might continue to complain about a particular misbehavior. So another point I want us to note is that children will test our boundaries. Yes, as humans generally we are boundary testers. We want to know the peak of something. Even between spouse, we test ourselves. We want to know, no, let me just try it for him. Maybe we'll accept. Let me try it. Let me just try this out on my wife. Thank you for joining me, Mulikat and Ilasaba. I really appreciate your presence. If I can't see some people, but for those that I see, I'll greet you. Thank you all for joining me. So understand that your children will test boundaries. As much as you set rules, don't say because I set rules already, then don't go and feel relaxed. Understand that your children will test that boundary. They will want to test, see how serious you are. It is your duty to make sure that for the rules that you have set and you have consequences that are fair attached to them, you dish out the consequence for every time your child tests that boundary. That's the way life works. Understand that no matter how much you set rules, you say, we have rules, okay, you don't wake up, once you wake up in the morning, you don't on the TV. For every time you on the TV, what's the consequence for it? The fact that you set it doesn't mean your child will not test your boundary. They want to see how factual you are about the rules you have set. They want to know how serious you are. So it's your duty to understand that for the rules that you set, make sure you attach a fair consequence that you have both agreed on, and dish it out for every time they flaunt that rule. So one of the rules that we set in my home is that your assignment must be done before Maghrib. Once my son comes back from school, he eats and he rests. He have time that he sleeps. When he wake up, the next thing is to do his assignments, and after his assignment, you must finish your assignment before it's time for Salat to Maghrib. For those of us that are Muslim, that is for the evening, the sunset prayer. That's 7 p.m. You must finish your assignment before them. If you do not finish your assignment, you take it to school that way. I will not be the one to come and struggle when it is morning. You now start using the assignment to disturb me that mommy please assist me with this one. Or in the night when I have other things to do, you start disturbing that mommy please help me with this assignment. There must be rule to the things that you do in your home. There must be a routine that you follow such that your children, they know what next to do even without reminding them. It's because we don't have this structure in our home. We don't have this routine that we follow, that children do what they like, because they know that once I beg mommy tomorrow morning, mommy will listen to me. I just have to cry. Once I cry to her, she will have to assist me. And I shared this experience so that earlier this year, after the advent of the COVID, when they resumed this term, my son, I think due to the relaxation in home, he could not finish his assignments. And on the second day, on a Monday morning, he started crying, begging, mommy, please help me on a Monday morning for that matter. There was Saturday, there was Sunday, there was Friday. He didn't finish his assignments. And on Monday, he was now crying and begging me, mommy, please, I don't want maths to beat me. I said, you have to take it to school that way. I will not assist you. Go and face whatever consequences they are giving you in school for not doing your assignment. It's not my responsibility. If you had come to me during the weekend, I would have assisted you with that. But you were at home all through, you did not do that. You were playing, you even saw a movie with me. So what's now the essence? So until we let our children understand that for everything they do, there's cause and there's effects. And we let them understand the relationship between the cause of their action and the effects. We let them understand that for everything they do, they are responsible for the consequence of their choice. This is one thing that we must teach our children from an early age, that there's a relationship between your choice and consequence. And you may have the right to to make choices, but the consequence that come with that choice, you don't have the right over it. That's the law to life. Once you put your hand on a hot stove, you get burnt. You might choose to put your hand on a hot stove. The stove does not care, it doesn't mind, it doesn't obey your rule. But the fact is that there is a rule that we know that is constant. Once you do it, this is what will happen. So these are ways we can try to model our children behavior by understanding why they are misbehaving. So understand that your children will test boundary. So just be consistent enough to make them face the consequence for their actions. That's the second point. The first point I mentioned is that your children have many other teachers, many other parents. You're not the only influencer in your child's life. So you must be able to say the position that these influence other parenting partners have in the life of your child. Are they prominent? Are they the major influencer? While you have taken the back seats, the position that you're supposed to take, that you're supposed to be the most prominent voice in your child's life. Have you now given the role to TV? Have you given the role to teachers in school? Have you given the role to other neighbors or the environment? These are things we should always evaluate ourselves over. And next thing I mentioned is that your child will test boundary no matter how much rule you set or how much consequence you set. Always know that your child will test boundary. And that point I will be mentioning on why your child misbehave is that your child is fighting for control. Yes, and this is common among teenagers and toddlers. They are fighting for control. For toddlers, you see them when they just start learning how to do a particular task, they want to leave you alone. They want you to leave them to just to show themselves. And this is normal for toddlers. It's a normal behavior. In fact, it's a very healthy behavior for them to exhibit. So it's your duty as parent to know that I think this about fighting for control. It's not about the child being misbehaving. It's just a way of saying that I now understand myself. I think I'm now existing. Your child is coming to understand that they are influential in this world. If I throw up this thing, it's going to break. And your child is feeling powerful. She's feeling empowered. That's wow. So if I should throw this egg up, it will break. Ah, wow, that's amazing. And the child is about to take another egg and try the experiment again. So understand that your child is fighting for control. So they fight for control through misbehavior, and teenagers too. Once teenagers understand that I'm trying to understand myself, am I the only one? You be controlling me every time. Just you tell me to do this, you always control me. You're always controlling me. Understand that it's not the time for you to now start having fights with them, start taking it personally. We take a lot of things personal, especially when it comes to teenagers, because we believe, why are you trying to question my authority? Authority does not come through force and control. Authority is something that is earned. According to my coach, she said that authority comes through influence and through you having been in a right position from a very early age in your child's life. It's not you forcing it when the child is now already a teenager. So no matter how good our intentions are as a parent, children sometimes see our action as being controlling. So no matter how good you say you are, that I'm doing it for my son, I'm doing it for my daughter, they see your efforts as a form of control. And until you try to balance it, of course you want to control them, but you don't want them to see it as you are controlling them. So instead of you saying, requesting, or commanding them over something, make it a request. A request like, when do you intend to do it? I need you to help me do this. Make it a request. I need you to help me do this. It's still the same thing as saying, it's different from saying rather, go and do this for me. You are saying the same thing, but you are communicating it in different way. I need you to help me do this thing. Sounds like you are giving the child a sense of, I need your help. I need you to assist me. I know you can do it. But go and do this thing for me. Sound commanding. Even though you think you are the parents, you don't the way we talk to our children, we should understand that that's the way life they will respond to life. When you talk to your children in a way that you use a derogatory language for them, you bring them down just because you think you are the parents. Believe me, when others do the same to them outside, they see it as normal thing. And this is one of the reasons why children have low self-esteem. It's one of the reasons why children do not even know who they are. They do not even have good sense of self-worth, because we have for long treated them in a way that they don't value themselves. They don't know their worth. And once they go outside and people treat them anyhow, they see it as normal. They will not say that because they are older, àgbàlagbà ni wọ́n, because they are older. These are things that we teach our children, that the children do not even know who they are. They don't know how precious they are. They don't know how important their existence in this world is. So for too long, they are just sitting in the back seat. It's some people that can do it. I'm not yet big enough. I'm not old enough to do that. These are the ways we raise our children to believe that it's until they get to a certain age before they can make influence. It's until they are old enough before they can be influencers. And until we start to rethink the way our own upbringing affects us and how it's rubbing on us on the way we are parenting our children, we'll continue to repeat this circle. And until somebody deliberately unlearn this thing in a family, the family might continue to repeat the same error. So these are ways we should also know that our children will fight for control, no matter how much we sincere we are with our intentions. When we are too controlling, when we are not giving our children that space, they see us as being controlling and they fight back. Sometimes they are going to rebel. I think sometimes around last year, there's a video that went viral of a son that disrupted everything in his mom. I don't know if you saw that video, in their home, from point away egg, from breaking eggs to doing all sort of things. And when they were asked, he mentioned his own part of the story. He mentioned how his mother would use derogatory words on him, the way his mother will abuse him, will insult him, will do all sort of things for him. Of course, there's always two sides to a story, but people testify to it. And for that to come to social media, it speaks volume of how we raise our children to feel bad about their existence. And until we raise children to understand that they are important, that's one of my points. We must let children feel empowered from the home. They must feel that they are important. And until they feel good about themselves, they will not respond to life the way they are supposed to respond to life. For too long, we have raised children as if they are just puppets. They are just here to in this world to just form and follow others. They are not here to follow your orders, please, parents. They are here to receive your guidance. Your children are here to receive your guidance, not for you to control them, to impose on them, to command them. Your child will become what they are meant to become. Yours is for you to play your own part by being a positive influence. It's not by commanding. Nobody ever gains something by commanding. Even as adults, we don't love to be commanded. So we have to think about our processes. So your child will fight for control through misbehavior. Another thing you should also understand is that your child wants independence. The child wants to feel independent, wants to see that I can do things on my own, I can think on my own, I can make decisions on my own. And the earlier we start to make them feel that independence in the home, by giving them the avenue to make mistakes, to learn through their own experience, their own errors, that's when they feel empowered. For how long are we going to continue to control our children, to impose on them? Life doesn't work that way. The earlier we make them feel independent, while we allow them make that mistakes. We don't love to see our children make mistakes. That's true. Even ourselves, we don't love to make mistakes. But that's the way to life. That's one of the ways that we grow in life. We cannot grow without making mistakes. So we have to allow our children what's feel independent while we just play the role of guidance. That's our role. Our role is not to command them. Our role is not to impose on them. Your role is for you to guide them back to understand their purpose in this world. To understand that they are precious, that they are important, that they are great, and that they have been made in the best of form. Until your children feel important about themselves, that's when they radiate to the world in a loving manner. That's when they can give back to the world in a loving manner. When a child does not feel good about themselves, they approach world with a sense of low self-worth. And a child with a sense of self-worth is a slave to people's opinion. So your child wants to feel independent. That feeling of I can do things on my own. Children want to feel that sense too, but you have to involve them. That's why I say that communication is important, connection is important, and until they feel connected to you, that's when they can also involve you in their decision making process. So I hope you have learned one or two things during this our session, and I hope that you find it worth your time. I do not take your presence for granted. I don't know if there's any question you have to ask. You can drop your questions here. I'll answer them if I cannot. If you are not able to drop them now, I'll wait for the next 2 minutes to see if you have one or two questions. I'll be waiting to read from you. And if there is no question, I will leave in the next 2 minutes. Always remember that parenting is more about you than it's about your child. Children are the same everywhere. What makes the difference is what you do, is what you know, is how you approach the world. And one of the things that you can do to make better your journey is for you to work on your emotions. This is one of the things that I find that make us fumble as a parent. Most times we're not in control of ourselves. We want to gloss it to our be just get angry. We parent with so much ego. We parent with so much ego. We are like, no, you said that to me. How can you say that to me? I'm your parent here. Please let's give our children some slacks. Let's give them time to to reflect who they are to us. Let's give them that avenue to express themselves. I believe so much in empowering children from the home, because I believe that children who feel empowered in the home will approach the world with a sense of empowerment, with a sense of I have something to contribute. But once we don't give them, we just impose on them, we just teach out the rules, we are the judge, we are the lawyer, we are the everything. Our children will not be able to approach world with the sense of I have something to contribute. So I hope you have found this session worthwhile. Again, I thank you. I appreciate your presence, and I do not take it for granted. Watch out, my book is almost out. Connect to Influence is almost out on the 25th of this month. It's going to be the launch date. You can still pre-order at the price of 25. If you are willing to do that, you can reach out to me personally, or you can pay into the account. I will share the link here soon. Pay and reach out to me personally on my number. I'm going to be glad to have you be among those who pre-order the book. That's one of the part of the book that I'm reviewing with us here. The reason why our children misbehave, because for us to be able to solve any problem, we must understand the reason why that problem exists in the first place. That is when we can solve the problem. So understanding possible reasons why your children misbehave will assist you to be able to approach to solve the problem or to correct the misbehavior. Thank you for joining me. Be more than a parent. Be purposeful. Always remember that parenting is more about you than it is about your child. Bye.